Good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here for F1 2020. It is F1 Season 12, Round 20 of the Championship as we take the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Yes, this is not a drill. We're live once again and early once again. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always here for the final 4 rounds of the Championship. And joining me in the commentary box, it is Mr. Ilar Bunty. Bunty, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Nice to have a commentator alongside me for the second race in a row, and a very good one as well. So looking forward to Mexico. Hopefully it lives up to the standards set in COTA.
Yeah, hopefully so. And of course, if you do not remember what happened last week, you can go and watch back the stream later on. But for those of you who are very impatient of waiting, it was Black Box who took the win last time out. He got the fastest lap, I believe, as well. Jensen finished second and Denzel in third. Jensen, of course, has wrapped up the championship. It's needless to say. 370 points he is on coming into tonight. Messina in second on 192, with Petter in third on 171. Rocco and Denzel, who aren't making it tonight, they're fourth and fifth on 168 and 143 respectively. Tyne in sixth on 132, Zero in seventh on 118, Sparkle in eighth on 104, Amanda big way down in ninth on 69 points, and Hide in 10th on 68, just a point behind. Berra 11th on 64, Macho 12th on 50. Interesting to see how he gets on, of course, after his performance on Monday evening. Bullboy in 13th on 39, Black Box 14th on 37 after his win last time out, and Pace in 15th on 24 points. Jensen obviously has wrapped up the championship here, Bunty. Messina is 21 points ahead of Petter coming into tonight. Both of them are here. Hopefully going to be some good racing for second.
Yeah, F2 as well gave us a nice insight into some really good battles around Mexico, which I would say Mexico has always been somewhat entertaining. I mean, throwbacks to, I think it was 2019, if I got my years correct, where Verstappen did have a surprise win. But yeah, F2 in terms of yesterday has set a very high standard, and hopefully the long straight can provide us with a few overtakes.
Of course it will. It's Mexico, for goodness sake, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of overtaking and plenty of action, of course, out on track, and hopefully it's going to be all clean action as well out on track, which I'm hoping you are going to be seeing. Yeah, there might be a big football match coming on at 8 o'clock. We don't care about that here in FRL. Alfa Romeo will lead the way on 503 points, and they tonight, Bunty, can wrap up the championship, finally.
Ooh, haven't they won it already?
I might have just said that factually incorrect. Possibly.
Well,
that.
I do remember telling Zero last time in the interviews you won the constructors, but you DNF'd. So I'm fairly sure they won because nothing happened in the stewards. So I think both championships are already wrapped up.
Both championships are already wrapped up. You can tell I did GCSE maths. I failed it as well. Alfa Romeo are on 503 points. Ferrari in second on 348. By my calculations, there's 43 points available per race without the fastest lap and the pole position. So that makes it, to me, 120 points. Yeah, Alfa Romeo have done it. Alfa Romeo lead, Ferrari second, Mercedes in third on 231, McLaren fourth on 157, Racing Point in fifth on 156, Renault in sixth on 148, Red Bull 7th on 125, AlphaTauri 8th on 118, Haas in 9th on 106, and Williams in 10th on 45 points. Alfa Romeo have already wrapped up the championship, but Mercedes, McLaren and Racing Point looking quite close there with Renault and Red Bull. The mid-pack battle for fourth really on in terms of the constructors.
Yeah, just a point separating McLaren and Racing Point, similar to what we saw in real life last season. But I think McLaren, by just the sheer consistency in the second half of the season with David and Amanda, the two Spaniards who came into the season replacing, I think it was Jourdil and, oh god, such a while ago. I think the other two drivers did one race, but yeah, the two Spaniards who have stepped in have just put some really good points in for McLaren, especially Amanda getting, I think it was a podium in Britain, which has definitely helped them, because if you just ignore that podium alone, they already dropped down to 6th. So it's all going to be about small gains, I guess, here, so it'll be definitely exciting to watch.
Yeah, it is going to be exciting to watch, of course. We are just moments away. I believe a couple of drivers are just getting into their correct seats. We have got a few F2 drivers and a few returning faces, which I'll run you through as well. In the lobby currently we have David, Speldenar, Zero, Stephen, Macho. Got Zero's pronunciation right, by the way, this week. Macho, Petter, Ballboy, Jensen, Messina, Brock, Amanda, Charlie's in, he's a Division 2 driver, I believe. JB's also in Division 2. Pelly, Jacko, a returning face to me. Black Box, of course, he won last time out. Flex, the sheep from last week. Hene and Remco, and of course ourselves taking you through the action, of course, and what is going to be a fascinating night. As I say, we are running a couple of minutes behind schedule, but that's part and parcel of being a commentator here in FRL. Things never go according to plan.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping Rocco can join anytime now. He's gonna hopefully join, which would mean we get a full grid, which would be, I think, for the second time in a row, which I'm not sure whether we've done all season, so, you know, FRL breaking records as usual in multiple aspects with, I guess, on being on time and getting full grids, but yeah, just be nice to have a full grid. And I've just seen Hennep has apparently changed nationalities to Norwegian, so I guess he's picking and choosing his nationalities as the weeks go by.
Well, at least we haven't got access to the task system like I normally do on a Tuesday night and then on a Thursday as well for TTML. We have access to the task system, that records the live data, so everyone's going to have their settings on public. So it's a good job we're not getting the live data, otherwise that would have just ruined the system for us. But at least we're doing some old-fashioned commentary here tonight, of course, in FRL. And hopefully Rocco has joined the lobby, I can see. We should be good to go, I would say, ready up at this point.
I would say Brock needs to get out the Haas, because Rocco, or seen his beloved Haas, is not going to be happy, so hopefully we don't go underway as people are spamming Brock to politely leave the Haas and vacate his way for Rocco, but I think that would mean Brock's going to be in the Alpha Tauri. I think he was in that car last week where he missed marginally out in 4th for a podium, so he's going to be wanting to avenge that slightly poor result, and hopefully, yeah, he leaves the Haas.
Well, we are waiting for Brock, and Brock, if you are listening to this stream, or if you're on the toilet and have this stream in the background, maybe when you return, get out of the house and then put Rocco into that seat. Rocco, by the way, is saying, I need the Pelly link-up play. I like the Euro reference there from Rocco. He has just got back, I believe, from work as well, so he probably hasn't had some time to practice that much. But what we will focus on, though, is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. 4.3 kilometres in length, 17 turns, 3 DRS zones, of course, one down the start-finish straight, one down towards turn 4, and they both share the same detection point, of course, out of the final corner at Peraltada, and then on the run-in towards the Ferrosol at turn 12. It could be quite an interesting night in terms of overtaking, but also in terms of a big old DRS trend.
Yeah, we've been obviously familiar to, in multiple races, Mexico can produce quite a few DRS trains, which are very difficult to get out of if you're that third man in the train, because obviously if you're second, it means you do have the run-in for the guy first in the train, if I can get my words out. But if you're third, obviously you won't have the benefit of the guy in first who will have their rear wing closed. And I guess maybe that might help Rocco if he is in that DRS train with Pelly. Maybe they can work together like we saw, I think somewhat did in USA, but Pelly obviously didn't want to make way on used softs.
Yeah, I think obviously Rocco's probably got a good chance here to try and make his way up the field. Of course, if he hasn't had much practice, then he could be one of the guys to watch. Stephen, by the way, saying, Stephen in the chat saying, we learned from the best Ballboy 57 in being late. Brock, by the way, is still in the Haas, and drivers are now readying up, which leaves me to say Rocco might have to go. Oh, he's just selected a car, actually. Rocco is in the Alpha Tauri, it seems, but it looks like we are getting going.
Yeah, I think Rocco's just had to stick to the AlphaTauri. I don't think he's been in that car ever in FRL. I might be completely wrong there, but hopefully that's a nice fact to get out there. But yeah, Rocco maybe might have some good luck in a new car. Try and get a good result for France Tost. As in terms of the constructors, they can probably also challenge fourth if Rocco and who else is in the AlphaTauri? I think Jack is in hospital after an incident, and Lucas is always not here, so I think it's going to be another reserve in the AlphaTauri. But they can score some good points and get up the order as well, and so can Haas. So it's a lot of teams can really fight for that fourth spot, but whereas Williams are just a bit too far down. So sadly, I mean, looking at their previous results, nothing to shout about, as it's dry.
It is. Well, I can't see if it's dry, so you've just literally ruined the weather forecast for everybody that is tuning in now on the stream, preempting things. But yeah, you can tell it is dry now. We are getting just loaded into the lobby there on my end. And what I can say as well, it is very overcast, I would say. It could be the changeable conditions, maybe in qualifying, maybe in the race as well. I'm sure we'll get a weather forecast within the chat. But it looks like we're going to get the first couple of cars out on track very soon indeed. I'm just having a look at the AlphaTauri, by the way. Henny is alongside Rocco in the AlphaTauri, just for clarification on that, as the first cars are leaving the grid, and I believe Macho might be one of the first. In fact, I believe it is one of the Renaults at least. The camera angle does not want me to ride on board with whoever this person is. It is Macho. Macho, of course, who had a really good race in F2 yesterday. Hopefully going to be producing some really good results like he has done so far this season, with 2 third places the last time he actually attended.
Yeah, he definitely, I think, showed off some of his wheel-to-wheel skills yesterday with T-Hawk. I think they went side by side, probably more than he has done the whole season, as he has been used to running out front in F2, but F1 is a completely different story. He has most of the time been in those DRS trains sitting behind Jensen, like in Japan, I remember in F1, and Belgium where he got a podium, so I think you can keep an eye out for Macho, because I think, unless I see a lock-up at any stage of his race, he does turn on his assist for F1 to make him slightly more competitive, so he should be up there, you'd like to think, and probably would hope, given we don't want another Harry Jensen pulling away and doing a Hamilton.
Definitely not, definitely not. And yeah, Macho, really good performance. I watched that race actually last night when the football was on, just in between. And Macho was very quick around here, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be towards the top end of the field once again. And let's take you on board then, on a lap with Macho around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, opening up this DRS zone. 210 mile an hour can normally be reached, running down the straight, down in towards turn number 1, and then in towards the Essa chicane, coming through turns 2 and 3. Down in towards turn 1, no lock up through turn 1, now through turn 2, and then through the curve at turn 3. Very nice indeed from Macho there. A little bit squirrely on the exit, but now runs up in towards the end of the first sector, towards the end of turn 4, and his first sector is quick, 27.6 through the first sector from Macho. And we'll see how this runs, of course, as we go through the lap, coming through turn 6, and then the double right of turn 7. That is counted as just one corner on the official F1 track map. Now into the funnily named S's section around here, through turns 8, 9, 10, and then in towards turn 11, which is this, the left-hander coming up, and then in towards turn number 12, and then in towards the Ferrosol, coming into the baseball stadium section, 54.5 through the middle sector. So Macho was going very quick here on this lap, into the Ferrosol, into the baseball stadium section, through turn 14, and then on the exit in towards turn 15, and then through Peraltada at turn 16, of course, where Nelson Piquet had that incident in Formula E a couple of years back. Macho now comes across the line, a 1:13.3 to start off the night, as Remco comes into the pit lane. Must have been an invalid lap time from him.
Yeah, just saying, Rocco here is on mediums coming through the second sector split. Given his late timing, God, it's Beltanos, 7 thousandths off Macho, so already shaping up to be quite a close affair in qualifying. But Rocco on the mediums, I don't imagine it will be the most competitive, because around this very twisty and mechanical grip through this third sector, as he nearly loses it. We'll see what it's going to be. Yeah, he's slower than Bullboy, which isn't where he'd want to be probably, so I imagine he's going to go onto the Sauces. Pettervol puts it on pole, provisional pole.
He does indeed. It's so shocking, in fact, that I need to press pause to try and get that up because I didn't see the fast lap come up. Petter on top with Macho in second, Speldenar in third. Look at how close it is between the top three in very overcast conditions. 200ths of a second, 300ths of a second, in fact, covering those. And Henny's about a tenth and a half off as well in there in fourth, 114.4 from him. Rocco 15.3 is currently the fastest lap on mediums. Flex comes across the line to go fourth in the Ferrari. We've got quite a few drivers on that lap, so I'm just trying to flick through because Jensen is on a lap coming through the end of the first sector. It looks like he might have actually backed off this. They're certainly not running any ERS, and it looks like he's quite low on fuel as he comes through. And he has actually got traffic ahead as well, as I believe that was Zero going into sixth. 114.5 on a set of mediums. Not a bad lap at all.
Yeah, definitely not. Just seeing Black Box here, he's coming through turn 1 and 2 as we speak. He obviously won in USA, so his confidence is going to be sky high, seeing what his first sector is going to be. 27.6, which was a very similar first sector to Macho. He goes slightly wide into turn 5, into turn 6. Uses first gear, which is a lot of rotation to say the least, but on the pads here, he is going to be at a disadvantage as he loses a lot of time by missing the apex at turn 7. Not going flat through the S's. Ooh. Seeing what his second sector split is off 54.8. So I don't think he'll be troubling pole, or if he will, it'll be pretty special this. But as Jensen, he's done it again, I think. Jensen's going to do a last to first challenge, but Brock or Blackbox is going to come up to the line, see what it's going to be. It's P4. Which is very promising given how much of a shocking lap it was for the Williams driver. So he's going to be looking at fastest lap and I guess looking at the splits and see where he can gain time.
Yeah, middle sector was probably the worst out of him compared to Macho, certainly. He gained all of that time back in the final sector, so Black Box, if he puts in a much competitive middle sector, he's going to be on pole and maybe even into the 112s with that lap time. I have my faith in Black Box possibly for pole position. Petter's though out on top, Macho in second, Speldenar in third, nearly 7 minutes gone in qualifying. Zero is cutting the track coming through the S section there. JB, by the way, went up to 10th with a 15.8. Not many drivers on laps. David's into the pit lane after invalidating. As you've seen something
holding up Amanda a little bit. I think they're both pushing, which is something you never really want. I think Amanda's the faster driver, as you can see by the place difference. But Amanda probably got a bit of dirty air, which you really don't want in that third sector, given the amount of mechanical grip. So the car probably was just washing away as he turned into the corner. But it's still promising from Amanda. Once again, P5 in quali so far. If you can just stick around now and consolidate that spot, it's going to be another good qualifying for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, he showed quite a lot of promise actually last week, of course, in the US, where he picked up a 7th place finish, and Amanda will be hoping for a really good push, maybe onto the likes of Black Box, onto the likes of Speldenar, up towards the top end of the field. As I say, nearly 8 minutes gone in qualifying. It's Petrad on top, Macho second, Speldenar in third, Remco on a lap, 103.1 through the middle sector. He's not on a competitive lap here, is Remco, but he is going to set a valid lap time. He's going to be probably the slowest of the night. In fact, he's ahead of Pelly with the 122.6. That is not a representative time at all. Brock is invalid. Macho, by the way, 400ths down through the end of the first sector, in towards turn 7 and 8.
Yeah, Rocco here. Well, sorry, who are you talking
Macho.
about? Sorry, Macho. Sorry, it's completely wrong. Macho, he's 7,000ths up into the last sector. He's going to have to really send it here. He's still got 2 more runs, including this one. So he might not need to go all guns blazing, but it's the small margins which are going to count here. So he's just going to tread carefully into this last corner, take the shortest run up to the line and use the curve. It's going to be fastest lap. It is from the F2 driver, 13.2. Not into the 12s, but very, very fast.
But Petter is a 10th and a half up through the first sector alone, and he's only coming through in towards turn 7 now. Speldenar is invalid on a lap time, which is why we're right on board with Petter coming through the S's now, through turn 10, through turn 11. So much commitment there from the Czech man, and he now comes through the middle sector, and he's 2/10ths up. So already he's theoretically ahead of Macho, out on track. Oh, as he gets a click of oversteer coming out through turn 12 and 13, through 14, locked up there as well. I think this is still going to be quickest though. Petter coming through the final couple of corners, runs toward the line through Peraltada, and actually he's into the pit lane. Typical.
Oh, that is a big shame for Petival. I'm not sure. I don't think he's ever got pole in FRL, but it was there for the taking. 2/10 up into the last sector, gaining on Macho, but just he was very compromised into the turn 12, which compromised him as he got caught on a curve in turn 13, which is something you never really want to do. As I'm just saying, I think Charlie Pauly is just under 10th up, but he's keeping it fairly clean in this first sector, just behind his teammate, who's in a unlucky 13th, as he's lagging quite a bit for me, which isn't the most, not going to fuel him with any confidence, or the drivers around him, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's lagging for me as well, coming through in towards the Ferro Soul, and over halfway gone in qualifying. Macho out on top, Pets second, Spelden on third, Black Box fourth with a 1:13.5. Watch for him on this lap. He's just started one on the run down in towards turn number 1, and now he hits turn 1, now through turn 2, and then in towards turn 3. I think he's got his teammate actually ahead of him. This is going to be an important lap for Black Box, because if he gets... I was going to say, if he gets the run of Ball Boy, which he now runs past him, 27.6 in the first sector. It's quickest in the first sector on his personal best, but this is the middle sector where he lost so much time coming through the S's. If he's much more committed through the S section here, and he's cleaner through the S section this time, this will be pole.
Yeah, I'm just riding on board with Zero, who's about to start his lap. He's gone for the softs at the moment, so he might be up there as well, Zero. I don't think you can count him out. He did a 13.3 on time trial, so it's going to have to be a PB here if he wants to contest. But he might just settle for 11th, which is quite good if you do the medium soft strategy around here, which can be very competitive.
Black Box is coming through the final couple of corners. He's got Stephen just ahead of him out on track. No. Black Box now runs the line, and he goes second. A 1:13.2, and you might have seen something. Was there a spinner through turn 12?
Ooh, I think it might have been a Mercedes, but I'm not completely sure. But it does seem to be a little bit of a car park in this last sector, as Bullboy's there, and so is Mazzina. And we haven't seen anything from the esports challenger himself. He's just going to go on the outlap on and start his lap on the mediums here. I'm imagining he's going to probably be around Zero's kind of postcodes in terms of his lap time, but Mazzina will not be up there for sure, so maybe he's just counting on his race pace to do the magic.
Well, mediums to softs around this track is something like 1.2 seconds he'll try and find if he goes under a set of softs. However, he's not going to be finding any time whatsoever because he is just invalidated coming through turn 2, and that was a pure and utter dirty corner cut that was from Mazzina.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Mazzina crashed out in frustration in Russia, so I'm a bit scared for the other drivers around him, whether he'll crash into the wall, but he's still got one run left, so he can pit. You've seen something. Yeah,
Petter's a 10th up through the first sector. Coming out of the middle sector, oh my god! How on earth has he recovered that? He's 2/10 down now, but my goodness me, if we had a... Spellnar goes top with a 1:13 flat. How on earth Petter recovered that car coming out the S's? I do not know, because it was looking like 3/4 of the way he was going to spin into the wall. That's an unbelievable recovery.
Yeah, I didn't catch it myself, but I caught Speldenar nabbing pole off Macho. The Williams are looking really, really up there in terms of pace. As I'm just seeing Stephen on the mediums as well, so he's going to try and go for that, as Mazzina's going again for the medium, so some drivers I guess are going to try and mix it up with this strategy, but the two Williams are really impressing me, especially Speldenar with 13.0. I think he's the one to watch in terms of getting into the 12s.
Yeah, he is, definitely, and he's currently 0.2 of a second ahead of Macho, just under that, in fact. Macho there in second, on sufferance as well. Of course, he has changed his assists coming into tonight's race, but he's up there, and he's got the pace to be up there as well, so maybe the transition to F1 next season might work for him. Who knows? I'm sure the stewards are going to be having a look at, of course, the placements for the new game. Black Box there in third, Petter in fourth. It's quite a competitive grid. Remco, by the way, went up to fifth with a 1:13.5. Rocker was coming through the end of the middle sector, and he's quick as well. He's a 10.5 up out of the middle sector.
Yeah, he's coming. It's looking, as he looks up, as people are really struggling at unlucky turn 13, but Rocco's going to come through the last corner. He's not usually this far down in quali, but I imagine he's going to want to get a bit higher, and it is only a 10th improvement, which puts him into P5. So, given the potential for the likes of Petervol probably to improve, and maybe Macho, as he's also on a lap, which he takes lovely.
Messina's just put in a 114.2 on a set of mediums.
I reckon a pace difference as well as around the second, so Messina could box for softs and possibly gun for pole here, but I don't think he'll want to given how good that lap time is on the mediums, as Macho's pushing on the softs.
He is. Henny was just starting up on a lap as well. Macho is coming through the middle sector though. We're right on board with him as he now flies out the middle sector. This is quick through the end of the middle sector. Macho's going to be the quickest out of everyone in the middle sector. Look at that, 2.5 tenths up for Macho as he now comes through in towards turn 12, into the FRL, through turn 13 and into 14, and then the exit of 15, and then in towards Peril Todd. These final two right-handers, of course, out on track. Macho is going to go top here. Macho to the line at a 112.8. Ooh, 112.9, so close, but he goes quickest.
What a lap from Macho there. He put that third sector to absolute precision. I think he might have locked up, so I don't think he's running assists because into the hairpin of turn 13. It did look like he might have locked up slightly, but Macho all of a sudden is looking a lot more competitive than his previous lap, and still waiting for Petervol to set in a valid lap time. As Zero goes third, so a lot of surprises the further we go on with this session. So I'm really hoping that like some Messina, and probably Perry, who's also been up there in quali in the past, go on the softs.
Flex has just crashed it. I will have to say, out of frustration, I believe, coming out of the S section there, coming through the Ferrosol, in fact. He was 3 tenths up on that lap. It looked very clean, but on the exit of turn 14, he just picked up the invalidation and crashed it into the right-hand side wall. So unfortunately for Flex, he is at the session, and it's a 114 flat. He's 200ths of a second off Amenda, will not be improving, at least. They'll be hoping that nobody else behind him improves either.
Yeah, I'm absolutely baffled here what David's doing. David was unable to make a decision whether he wanted to pit, so maybe a Hamilton in Germany moment where his engineers, Mr. Jeff, has told him to come into the pits, but David's not having it. And he's low on fuel as well, so does he want to do a last to first challenge as well as Bennett retires? So I'm a bit baffled here by, because yeah, it looks like P19 for David here, which is just very odd.
Yeah, down at 19th, hasn't had a lap time in, and I think we've got that minute glitch like we had last week. Petter, by the way, is a 10th up through the first sector, so let's see what the check can do. Coming through turn 6 and into the right-hander, of course, I should say of turn 6 now, in toward the left-hander then of 7 in toward the S section, and Petter has got to put in a competitive lap here. However, he's backed off, and I think that might be the right thing to do, actually. He doesn't want to get caught in traffic. He's got David behind him, then he's got clear track. So Petter has got all of that track now to play with to set a lap.
Black Box is slightly down on his time by 6.8 or 6.3 hundredths. So it's not looking the best lap for him. He might have to... Well, he's not going to have time to set another lap. But if there's a glitch, actually, he might be able to go again. I imagine he's really looking sloppy this lap from Black Box. So...
It's quick.
Although his last lap was quite good... And he's 2 tenths up here, Williams man. Is he going to be able to... Oh, no, he invalidates.
He invalidates coming out of turn 12 at turn 13. If I can get my words out, that'd be brilliant. Black Box invalidates coming out of turn 13. I'm interested to see what this lap time would have been, actually. It would have been a 113 flat and he would have went second with that lap if he didn't invalidate. But... he's got another lap in, he's got low ERS, but the more that we go on in this session, the more that it seems Petter has crashed it now into the wall after losing it on the exit. He was still valid, actually, on that lap. He just had a really bad exit coming out of turn 3, and he is in the wall as well.
Ramco
as well is in the wall.
So everyone seems to be doing a Mazepin impersonation here. As Amenda's just going to go... Oh, he goes miles wide there, using 7th gear, which is a bit odd, through the corner of turn 9, but as he invalidates himself, so not really the dramatic ending as you would have hoped, unless Jacko can gained 2 seconds in his last sector and he's 2/10 down in his time.
He's 1.2 seconds down on Macho's middle sector, so I don't think, unless Jacko's got a rocket underneath that car, he's going to go pole, and as I say that, he's just invalidated, hasn't he? So Jacko now coming in towards the final corner through Peril Turner. It would have been an improvement, I think, actually, from Jacko. 114.7 would have put him still in 15th position. David is not on the lap either. That is the end of qualifying, though. It's Macho out on top, Spellnar second, Zero in third. Is it 2 Division 2 drivers in the top 3?
Well, Speldenar's actually in F1 reserve, so, I mean, Zero calls himself F2 pace, so he'll probably say yes to that, but as seen here, he's very competitive. That's a PB from him to do a 13-1, but this is the Renault's, I think they've got the most pole positions of the season out of any constructor with 7. Whereas Macho's got his first pole ever in F1, so congrats to him. Just showing how good he is on 1 lap pace, which he is also very solid in the race, but he's going to really have to pull out a gap to Speldenar and Zero and get out of that DRS train, which will be critical to his race.
Yeah, the run down to turn 1 is going to be crucial, of course, because they are on the marbles on the inside line, so they might not necessarily get the best run out. But 2 Dutchies at the top. It's Macho out on top. It's Speldenar in second, Zero in third, Blackbox in fourth, Petter in fifth, Rocco in sixth. Given that he had a lack of practice, it's a good lap from him, I think, in sixth. Remco in seventh, Amenda in eighth. The top 7, by the way, covered by 6.5 tenths. Amenda, as I say, in eighth, Flex in ninth, Henny in 10th. Messina starting out the top 10. Watch out for him in 11th. Pelly in 12th, Brock in 13th, Bullboy 14th, Jacko 15th, JB in 16th, Charlie 17th, oh, Stephen 18th. He did improve on that lap. David and Jensen is actually now trying this week, apart from a 19th to second challenge like last week, it is now a 20th to maybe first.
Yeah, he had to get in that disqualification early unless anyone else wanted to, but David's was... I have absolutely no words as a McLaren F2 driver than what he was doing there, but it's going to damage their constructors fight, that's for sure. Not even setting a lap time as it's bone... Oh, I shouldn't, sorry.
What were you going to say there?
Load in. It's bone wet.
It's bone wet. I think it's bone dry out on track is what you might have been looking to say.
I didn't want to spoil it, but yes, it is. I mean, it does obviously induce some good racing. I think a wet race would be chaos, especially with the corner cuts, but I imagine all the drivers will be happy to see nice blue skies, if I can get my words out, like it is currently in the UK.
It's rather nice here up in the north of England at the minute. I'm just looking out my window. I'm on the back of my house, so I'm commentating, and I've got a nice view, which is pretty good. And beautiful blue skies here in Mexico. Beautiful blue skies outside. What more can you want? 36 laps though awaiting us out on track. The formation lap is now beginning, and we get to see what everyone is on in terms of the strategy out on track. Top 10, of course, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyres. Messina, of course, using the fresh set of mediums that's given to him. Everyone further down the field going for a little bit of a weird scenario. Jacko and JB going for a set of softs. They're going to be the quickest men out on track further down the field. Oh, Stephen going for a set of hards. Everyone else on a set of mediums. Messina immediately strikes out at me, as well as Jensen. Both of them on a set of mediums down on the bottom half of the grid.
Yeah, I think definitely keep an eye out for, as you said, Jensen and Messina. But although it may sound odd, keep an eye out for O'Steven, because if he can, with some safety cars, as you stick at that, I think if he does somehow manage to, with all the pit stops shaking out, be in the lead on lap around 18, and a safety car comes out, he could box for mediums and be in a provisional race lead. But yeah, O'Steven's going to need a miracle here if he wants to get maybe even a podium, but I guess he'll be aiming for points, as even to get into the points it's looking really competitive, like to Hennep, Flex and Amenda. Those are some drivers who aren't usually dethroned from points very often.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how all of this is going to unfold. 36 laps we've got in front of us. How many safety cars and VSCs could we possibly get if there is carnage down in towards turn 1? I've just preempted it.
I've just realised we didn't do our quali predictions.
Oh!
No.
That...
Well, we'll do our race predictions. I'll go for Mazina to win the race. I think Jensen will get second. I'll say Obrock will get third. So I'll say all the podium places will be to drivers starting outside the top 10.
I'm going to go Black Box for the win. I think he'll do a double from the US. I think Petter's going to be second, and for third, I'm going to go Messina, down in 11th. So nobody in the top 3 is going to be the top 3 by the end of this race. We'll see how that is going to unfold, of course, out on track. The 5 red lights are going to be preempted as normal, and the 5 red lights are going to be going out any second now. Out on track for round 20 of the championship here in FRL Division 1. As the revving engines are now finally coming on. Goodness me, it's a long start this. But we are ready to get going. And it is lights out and away we go. Macho gets a very good start. So does Speldar. And Zero gets a really good start as well. Full wide off the start and Black Box leads. Black Box is in the lead of the race. And Black Box has got an absolute sensational start. Zero and Speldar going side by side. There's a little bit of dust being kicked up. Oh, there's a bit of contact actually. I think Remco might have went into the back of Macho. And Macho's dropping down all the way down the field. Black Box leads the way though. It's a Williams 1-2 out of turn 3. Black Box leads. Speldar second. Jacko was round in the background as well. I think he's been caught up in an incident with Macho. So both of them around. Macho from P1 all the way down to P20 within 3 corners. It's Black Box who leads. Speldar second. Remco and Amenda are fighting side by side as Remco goes all the way around the outside of the Spaniard. The Spaniard absolutely heaves it down the inside though, and he's gonna be right there, and the McLaren is through, and now Rocco will look to the outside line as well into the S section. It's not quite close enough. It's Black Box who leads. It's Speldar second. It's Zero in third. What a chaotic start that was.
I could not keep up there, but Macho from taking pole, he's down into last. I'm just going to check if he has damage, and it looks like he doesn't have damage, and he doesn't have any time penalties, so in that regard he's got very lucky, running completely wide into turn 1. But I mean, if Frank Williams was here at the track, he'd be jumping for joy in his wheelchair. Williams 1-2, as Zero still is in P3, so Zero looks good for a podium again.
I don't think Frank Williams will be jumping for joy in his wheelchair, put it that way, unless there was a ramp putting in front of him maybe, who knows. Black Box still leads, Speldar second, Zero in third, Amenda in fourth, and you can tell where this commentary is going to go. Brock, by the way, is through on Flex, he's up into 9th, and it's the fastest of the medium runners at this stage. Jensen is all the way up to 13th, gets the move done down the Spaniards inside around the outside through turn 2, and Jensen's through and he's into 13th. David, though, was right on the back of him, and he could actually look to try and get the move done down and towards turn number 4, but it's not going to be quite close enough as ahead. Actually, Messina lunges it on JB down the inside line. Beautiful move that from Messina, and he's up into 11th as Henny is round.
Yeah, just realised the Renaults have had an absolute shocker, as their luck, to be honest, this season has been really poor, with whether it be the reserves or Denzo or Little Brookie. They have really struggled, as Hennep though revives them of that 2 wooden spoons, I guess, as he spun. But at the moment, Black Box already out of DRS of Speldar, and that will be crucial as Remco picks up a penalty, which he's quite familiar to do, which we should probably get used to, as there will be quite a few penalties.
Yeah, with that incident, by the way, coming out of turn 1 on the first lap, I believe Remco might have been on the outside line, and he might have hit the back of Macho, which is why Macho, I think, has fought all the way down the field, down in 20th. Here comes Rocco, though, by the way, on Remco, and he's got to try and fight this side by side, down in towards turn 1. Rocco's late on the brakes. Remco, though, tries to hang it all the way around the outside. I tell you what, Remco actually gets the move done. Brilliant stuff by Remco, but he's been outgunned by Rocco, and Rocco is soon, he's into 5th, and he could actually be outgunned again, as Petter is right on the back. Remco's going to have to think about going this or down the inside line, in towards turn 4, lunges it once again. Rocco now will try and get the switchback. Beautiful switchback from Rocco coming out of turn 5, and that is like night and day, bread and butter. Rocco is through, and he's into 5th position. Talk about outsmarting your opponent.
Yeah, brilliant racing from the two guys. Obviously, Remco from FAC, not familiar with that, but they showed great respect there from both of them, as Pedova was looking like you could have made with a switchback of Rocco, maybe poked his nose in there, but he obviously wants to be patient, as he sadly lost 2 spots. And I've just realised Amenda has made up, I think it's 3 from P7 to P4. That is very, very impressive, but he's not in the DRS of Zero, which is the critical thing.
Yeah, the top 5 is not within DRS of each other, actually out on track. And Amenda's gained 4 positions from 8th, actually, on the grid. So he's gained an extra position, as you said. Rocco was in 5th. There's Remco in 6th. Petter's trying to chase down Remco in the meantime, down in towards turn 1. Messina in the meantime, yeah, right on the back of Brock. Cuts down to the inside line. Is he going to try and lunge at the fin? Not quite. Brock's still there on the inside line. Henny and All Steven are going side by side further down the field as well, as Petter is right on the back of Remco. As I try and flick through to find the right thing, Messina right on the back of old Brock, running down in towards turn 4, and Messina does not try the lunge in towards 4. Brock runs out wide though, and suddenly this move might be on once again, as Charlie has left the session, and Petter's still on the back of Remco, and Messina very close to the back of Brock. Contact, but no damage.
Yeah, Remco's all over the place here, looking on Petter's POV. The Ferrari man's just stalking the Red Bull, as Remco also has a penalty, so Pettervold's going to want to get on with this. Well, O'Brock is looking quite good. Messina does seem to have the pace over him, as Jensen's just lurking in the background, but that is, of course, bit of the power of the DRS, which can gain you up to 14 kilometers per hour, depending on which track, so I imagine that's probably 17 or so around Mexico, as Messina's got a brilliant exit, but he hasn't got a lot of VRS compared to Brock.
And here's Petter, by the way, on the back of Remco, just in front of these guys, and Petter to the inside line will fly past the Red Bull down and towards turn 1, and yeah, Petter is through the check, and he's through, and he's into 6th position. Speldenau picks up a penalty in 2nd, Messina is through on Brock as well, so he's through and he's into 8th position. Remco, though, gets a great run coming out of turn 3, and he's now side by side once again, nearly, with Petter on the run down and towards turn number 4. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside line? No, fair play, I think, from Remco not to try and dive the move there, as Jensen dives it all the way around the outside of old Brock. That's an insane move from Jensen. I just caught the back end of that, as Jensen now and old Brock still go side by side and towards turn 6 through the double right, and old Brock says thank you very much, I'll just retake that position off you.
Yeah, Brock just showed all the experience of an FRL driver there for years, but he's only been here for 2 races, but very calculated move there from Brock, just outsmarting Jensen, as Jensen does a little weave, maybe not happy with him being pushed off. Hopefully he didn't get a warning, but Zero, as I see, he's knocking on a door now for 2nd, and at Zero he'll be sniffing a podium if he can get it, as he does seem to have the run on Speldenau, and it's going to be a simple move for him.
Absolutely easy. Zero absolutely flies past him. Zero, I should say, flies past him, and he's up into 2nd position. Speldenau in 3rd. Rocco, by the way, has been overtaken by Petter as well, so Petter's making good ground. He's up into 5th position, and Jensen is through on Brock, and he's through and he's into 9th position. Pelly as well, I believe, has just got JB down into turn 1, and he's through and he's into 11th, so Hasser's making the ground as well. Out on track, Remco once again joining onto the back of Rocco, but Petter, looks like Amenda's almost coming back to these guys. He doesn't have the sustained pace to try and keep with the top 3. Amenda's coming back to Petter, to Rocco, to Remco. They've got Messina and Jensen, 2 of the quickest guys arguably on the grid, as Remco nearly went into the back of Rocco there, just coming through turn 6. Jensen and Messina, if they're given the opportunity in a big DRS train that is forming ahead of them, and Amenda's holding all these guys up, Messina and Jensen's going to be on the back next time around.
Yeah, I think these mediums will start to phase in around about 2 laps. So I think when Messina does get into their DRS of the likes of Remco, maybe a couple mistakes will start to show from the soft runners, as their tyres will probably start to go off. It's not so much the rears around Mexico, it's more the fronts where you just lose the grip of the corner and understeer woefully, especially in the 3rd sector. As Mazzini, you just saw there, I think gained about 3/10 on Remco, as Remco got caught in a dirtier of Rocco.
Petter's on the inside line of Amenda. Tries to get the move done. It wasn't that easy, to be honest, actually. Amenda stuck his nose in, and Petter's through nonetheless, and he's into 4th position. Amenda didn't want to give that one up without a fight, I don't think. But for all is fair and love and war, and Petter is through and he's into 4th.
Yeah, Amenda there probably wasn't too happy with that move being done, because now he has to stick with him through basically the whole lap till the main straight again, which is going to be tough to do given that Pettervold does seem to have the pace over him, but he's, as I say, managing to stick within half a second of him, as Pettervold goes quite wide through the left hand to turn 7. But Amenda is going to pick up this DRS
Well, I tell you what,
detection point here.
It's Speldenau down the inside line of Zero, down in towards turn 12. He doesn't lunge for the move, but Zero, And actually, do you know what? That was a mistake from Zero. Speldenor put his nose down the inside line. Zero locked up. He went out wide, and that's why he picked up the 3-second penalty. So Speldenor's actually put Zero under so much pressure there. He's picked up a 3-second time penalty as a result of that. And if he tries to get that removed, to be honest, it's his own mistake, I think, for picking up that 3-second penalty. And now Speldenor is going to have a right go at Zero. Runs on the outside line, and it's sails past, and Speldenor is through. And he's into second, and once again, Williams 1-2.
Yeah, black box there. He's not getting away as far as I would have thought, because these two in second and third, although they do have a penalty, maybe that's why black box is probably not pushing as hard as we would have thought. These two are fighting quite hard, so I'm surprised black box hasn't pulled out maybe a 3-second gap, as Rocco gets very close to the McLaren, just sniffing the Husky chocolate, probably getting a bit hungry, but he's probably already had his dinner.
Yeah, he probably already has his dinner. Of course, Hungary got beat 3-0 off Portugal in the Euros, if you weren't familiar with the results. I've just ruined it for somebody there, I know I have. Rocco's on the back of Amenda, 5th and 6th position. The Prix on the back of the Spaniard. Remco, Messina and Jensen. I did say they would be on the back in a couple of laps' time, and they are now on the back of this DRS trim, which is now 6 cars between Petter to Amenda, and then all the way down to Jensen and P9 as Jacko has retired, and there's a safety car through the S section. So Jacko has retired. I'm just trying to see where he is. Here's old Stephen coming through, and he's lost that on the right-hand side. That's a heavy hit into the wall. But Jacko is out of the race, and that's caused a safety car, and it looks like the top 5, certainly, in fact, the top 7 are in.
Yeah, this is going to benefit the ones who haven't got penalties yet, although it is quite early. It's not really going to help black boxes. The guys, as I'm just saying, Jensen's pitting, so this kind of ruins Jensen's strategy, especially he's got quite held because obviously his teammate has come in ahead of him, as it's an absolute car park out of on the exit of the pits here.
Yeah, Petter's
got up to P2.
Yeah, Pelly stayed out. Pelly stayed out on track. I thought he was actually going to get Black Box coming out the pit lane, but Black Box just arrived ahead of him coming out the pit lane, and Black Box is now ahead. Pelly in second, Zero in third. But you've got to suggest that Pelly is probably looking for the alternate strategy. Maybe he knows something that we don't later on in the race. But a quarter of the way through, Black Box out on top, Pelly in second, Zero in third. Black Box has got now basically a car behind him to protect him from the likes of Zero and Petter, who are on the same tyres. Amenda and Speldenor and Messina and the likes as well, probably going for the 2-stop. They're going into a set of soft compounded tyres. They'll have to go, though, if they're doing a 2-stop, they'll have to go mediums to the end, probably the last 15 laps.
Yeah, I think that would be the viable strategy for them, but Speldenor has been held like Jensen in the pits by his teammate. Black Box probably would have wanted to have, if maybe the pit stops on this game for teammates were a little bit faster, he would have had Speldenor on P2, which, if the teammates obviously worked together, would help Black Box quite a bit to just pull away from the rest of the pack. But it means Speldenor's dropped down about 5 positions, which is not ideal for his race whatsoever, but it means Zero is now in provisional P2.
Yeah, Zero is in provisional P2, and yes, Speldenor get held up in the pit lane, which is why Black Box is ahead, and Speldenor all the way down in 7th. His pit crew were not ready for him, but he's on the interesting strategy. He's on a set of soft compounded tyres, as he's got Rocco nearly round the outside of him there, into Peraltada through the final corner. Pit window apparently is open. Never trust an AWS graphic, by the way, on this game. Ball Boy, however, though, is back into the pit lane. Looks like he might have put on the wrong tyres. He goes on to the set of mediums. I think he can use up a mandatory 2-stop around here with the hards, and you have to transition, of course, onto the set of mediums. So Ball Boy has done that. He's got the hard compounded tyres out the way, and Henny and Flex are going to be ahead of him. But he's going to be down right at the back of the human field, with Charlie's AI still running around at 19th.
Yeah, Charlie, I don't know why he's left, as there's a safety car which brings him right back into it if he can take control fast enough. But just looking still macho in P15, that is just something you really don't want to see. So hopefully, for his sake, he'll be able to maybe make his way up into I think top 5 would be quite ambitious, but he's got his teammate ahead of him, so hopefully Stephen will be somewhat allowing him to go through, unlike other teammates we've seen in the past.
Yeah, you'd imagine, I think, Macho, to be honest, to try and get past old Stephen, maybe running down the start-finish straight underneath the safety car start. We are waiting, I believe, for Charlie to get back onto the back of the safety car queue, but if my mind serves me correctly, the safety car lights will go out around about now. Perfect.
Very nice timing, yeah.
Very nice timing. Black Box is now the virtual Boom Islander. He is the safety car now, out on track, and he is going to be one that's going to be dictating this pace out on track. Pelly and Zero have got to fall in behind, but they don't want to be so Constantine up because you can pick up a 5-second penalty for crashing into your rival underneath the safety car. But Pelly definitely wants to get on with this. He's on the wearing tyres, so you would imagine he'll try and press Black Box. However, Black Box coming out of Peril Tada has gone, and Pelly has not responded, and Black Box is already away and out of the DRS zone. So Black Box leads across the line. He's getting a second
Amanda.
on Pelly under the start, and Amanda is right on the back of Petter under the start as well. The softs against the mediums running down in towards turn number 1. It's a good restart by all, and Black Box leads. Pelly second, 0 and third. Here comes Amanda though, using the overtake mode to try and go all the way around the outside. The Spaniard on the check tries to do it all the way around the outside. He's got the traction down the inside line. Picture perfect from Amanda on the fresher tyres. He's through and he's into fourth, and Pelly has lost third as well on the exit of turn 3. And now Remco and Speldenal are involved in this as well. As now Remco cuts the inside line on Amanda, absolutely dives it down the inside line on Petter. And Remco, Speldenal right on the outside line. Oh, and Remco should have gave him more room there, and he's through. But I think that's a push to pass, and he should really let him back through there, I think.
I'm just pleased to see Percival has not got any visual or noticeable damage, as P6 to P9 is so close. To be honest, a lot of the field is very close, apart from Black Box, who has bolted it away. He's way past DRS already. Speldenal's trying to go around the outside of Petter in towards turn 12. Around the outside he goes. Can he get the move done? Messina's going to follow through. He's not going to make this 3 wide into the baseball stadium section. He has. How they kept it clean, I do not know. Rocco now trying to go around the outside line. Pelly's dropping down like absolute stone. He's into the pit lane. Petter and Rocco are now side by side at the final corner. Jensen's involved in this. This is the craziest safety car restart I think I've ever seen. Speldenal's right on the back of Remco, and Remco tries to break the toe, running down in towards turn number 1. It's Black Box who leads 0 in second. Remco might be third. Speldenal down the inside line tries to get the move done. 3 wide nearly in the background. Goodness me, we can't keep up. Petter picks up a 3-second penalty, and Rocco cuts the inside line. Jensen's now going to get the run, and look at old Brock trying to make it 3 wide as well, running down in towards turn 4. Speldenal is trying to go around the outside of Remco. Speldenal on the inside line. Gets the move done, does he? Oh, it's so close, and now Remco's back on the inside line. He dives it aggressively down the inside line, and Messina is right involved in this as well. Black Box still leads, 0 in second. Oh, no. Remco all the way around the outside, keeps third. Good defensive driving by Remco, but it's a little bit aggressive at times. It's Speldenal! Oh, it's insane! That's absolutely insane! And he weaves, and he doesn't care. Speldenal, get a move on, you're into third. Honestly, someone in the comments needs to say what happened there. I had absolutely no clue. I think we had about 12 overtakes, more than we had in the whole 8 laps before the safety cars. DRS is enabled. Bullboy and O'Steven, the 2 old rivals, are fighting tooth and nail here for P14. It's only P14 as O'Steven nearly loses it into the wall.
It's Messina.
It's really kicking off. Messina, which is going to be for a podium position on the sauce as well, no less. This is going to be critical.
He's derating down the straight. Messina, though, was so late on the brakes. Tries to go all the way around the outside. He's on the inside line for 2. Beautiful stuff by the Finn. That is picture perfect. And Messina is through. And he's into P3. But look at the big old DRS train that's formed behind him. Here comes Speldenal once again. He's not derating now down in towards turn 4. Messina so much committed on the brakes, and he remains in P3. God almighty, we can now take a chill pill.
I don't think
we can't. Remco's off.
Remco has... Oh no, he hits Jensen!
Oh.
And David's going past. I think he... What's happened here? Has he got damage?
No, I don't think he's got damage.
Did he nearly spin, I think?
I think he spun on the inside curve coming out of turn 5. And that's where he's ended up spinning. He's rejoined track, and Jensen was going around the outside of him. He hasn't been aware that Jensen's on the outside of him, and there's been slight contact. But Remco, I think, has got away with that scot-free.
Yeah, I think that's just crazy. I'm pretty sure I put damage on full, but none of the drivers seem to be getting damage at the moment as they're fighting tooth and nail. But Brock is going to try and get the run on Petterville, which it looks like he has, as there's yellow flags being waved. As I think that might be Hennep, who's going very slowly.
Oh, what?
But Brock is making a move, and it's a safety car.
Safety car for what? Is what I'm confused about. Has he lost his front wing? I think he did. I think he might have lost his front wing actually heading into the pit lane. We'll see this. Into the pit lane we come. I'm just about as confused as you are. Amanda has picked up a drive-through penalty for spinning on the safety car, and yeah, Henny lost his front wing, and that is why we've got a safety car out on track. So safety car deployed, second one of the night, and more carnage and chaos about to unfold once again. Hopefully we don't get 12 overtakes like we did in the last safety car restart, but Black Box lead 0 in second. Messina, though, is the biggest gainer, I think, out of the safety car restart. He was down in, what, 9th position, I think, under the safety car restart, and now he's in 3rd.
Yeah, Messina just had to send it so many times, going 3 wide, I think it was, into... He made the move actually into a very unconventional overtaking spot into turn 13, just the corner as Black Box is approaching here, but Messina, I mean, he's fighting for P2 in a championship, but it's not showing. He's definitely not holding back at all. He's going full balls with every single overtake, but all the drivers seem to have the same wear as each other, so I don't think anyone's going to be pitting unless they want to try and do a Ferrari-esque strategy.
They might try and do. Brock and Rocco, Remco, David all in the pitch. Flex is in. I wonder if anybody else is going to come in with this as well. Yeah, Stephen's in. So these guys, I think, feel maybe the mediums to the end. Some are going hards, which is probably the better strategy. But Brock's on a set of mediums. David and Stephen on a set of softs. Brock's the only one on a set of mediums coming out the pit lane. Can he get those tyres to the end? 21 laps.
I would like to think so. I think the softs, if you push them enough, if you get a bit of luck, maybe lap 12. So I would say mediums can easily make 15. So I think the hards, I mean, under safety car you have to consider there'll be 2 laps. So I think Brock with a bit of luck. Oh, those are mediums. Oh my. No, I don't think so. He's going to have to hope for a late safety car to box on to softs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's on a set of mediums. Rocco behind him on a set of hards. Charlie, by the way, is down in 16th position. Apparently he's having a shower at this stage. You're in 16th position. Get out that shower and retake control of that car.
Flex as well.
Flex's AI'd, I think.
Having a shower, maybe, as well.
Has he got... Oh, he's disconnected, actually, Flex. Flex is disconnected. Charlie's in 16th. And Stephen and Henny are 17th, 18th at the minute. Black Box leads, though. We are still under the safety car. We've got to get another lap at least under this safety car. It's Black Box out on top, 0 in second, Messina in third. If you haven't tuned in, if you're just tuned into the race now, you missed everything. Honestly, you have missed everything. Black Box looked like he was about to come into the pit lane now. 0, Messina are both behind him, is still out on track. Nobody has came in under the safety car, certainly to pit in this time around. Who would you more favour, though? Would you favour the guys that are on fresher tyres at this stage to try and make their way through the field? Or would you favour the likes of Black Box, the likes of Zero, who can probably get the better start on warmer tyres, to try and pull away from Messina? Because remember, Messina's tyres are going to be probably around the same wear point as Zero and Black Box, who are ahead of him.
I think the softs can really overheat around this track, and this is why they drop off a lot. So given he's done a few laps under safety car Messina, I think his tyres will be in tip-top condition to make some moves for the lead. So I think you'd put Messina favourite to go and take the lead from Black Box, and I don't think Black Box has lost the lead since the very start, unless Zero might have taken it for a millisecond at the very start.
No, Black Box definitely got away from the start, and hopefully we're going to get the interval timings back on the left-hand side of your screen. Everyone, by the way, is on the back of the safety car queue, so Black Box will be the virtual Bertmalander once again for the second time this race, and he'd be the one trying to dictate the pace. And if it's anything like before, he'll try and break Zero by about a second to get out of that DRS train and to try and get him in the best possible spot to try and take this race win. It's not a shabby prediction, by the way, at the minute. Black Box is winning, Messina in third. The safety car going to come in this lap. It's only Zero in second. That's ruined it all. I think I said... Was it Petter, I think I said, for second? He's in fifth. So I'm not doing too bad at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen is slightly underperforming for my prediction. And Black Box is, I would say, the anomaly in my prediction. I think as Black Box is going to probably get away under... Oh no, Black Box is really bunching it up. Zera's going to get caught out here, but Mazina isn't. Mazina's... Oh, no, he nearly loses it. Does some drifting skills. What's Belton? He's timed it to perfection. Makes the move just after the start-finish line. They bang wheels slightly, the two Mercedes-powered cars. But Mazina's going to stick it down the inside here. He might even have a move at Zero. He does dive it down the inside, the two fins. But Zero, he's going to keep his foot to the floor into turn 3. He does get a penalty. Mazina's still fighting this. It's going to be 3 wide between these three. Zero seems as though he's backed out with that penalty, maybe not favoriting it. But Spelden, he gets pushed. And he gets a penalty.
Messina, I think, moved across on the braking point there for Speldenar. It was very, very minutely, but it was still a touch of wheels, and that's what put Speldenar nearly into the wall on the right-hand side. And they're still side by side between him and Zero, and he remains third for now. But that was a little bit cheeky there for Messina, if I've got to be honest. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't think it was. I think it was just a bit of judgment basically on the braking point. And Messina second, Speldenar on third. Further down the field, Remco fighting with JB, and JB is really dropping down the field here as well. He runs out one. He's actually going to let Steven through, maybe? No, I thought he was going to let him through.
But he's going agonisingly wide at every corner. I'm not sure what his... And he's on softs, so that is very odd. But Brock has got an alright start. Jensen stayed the same, but I just realised Macho. Where's he come from?
Jensen side by side with Petter, all the way down in towards turn number 1. Brock is side by side with Bullboy just in behind as well, so we're going to get 2 by 2 Noah's Ark down in towards turn 1. Bullboy on the inside line. Brock sails it around the outside. Yeah, good move there by Brock. Got pinched to the inside there slightly there, Bullboy, but I think he was a little bit too early on the brakes, and Brock just sailed it around the outside. He's through and he's into 8th position. Zero right on the back of Speldenar. Messina, though, softs seem to be still the best tyre to be on, because Messina's right on the back of Black Box.
Yeah, I think Messina will like to think that, but I'll pass the question over to you, James. Do you think Jensen might favour into this race with the likes of the softs turning or starting to go off?
I tell you what, I will answer that in a second, because here comes Messina down the inside line for the lead of the race. Sails it down the inside line. Job done for Messina. He's through and he's into the lead of the race. Black Box will try and fight this back. He tries to switch it through turn 14. Not quite. Messina through and he's into the lead of the race. And in short term... yes, I think Jensen will probably be one of the guys to watch out for. He's got no penalties. He's on a set of mediums. He's going to try and transition maybe onto a set of softs towards the end of the race. But crucially now, Messina is ahead. Messina can try and forge away. If Messina gets about a 3-second gap to Black Box, I think it's game over between them both.
Yeah, Black Box will have better strategy, as it's 3 wide for P10. As Pelly's going to bang wheels with the Mercedes of Bullboy, but he's going to keep P10 the final point scoring positions. But Rocco is on the hards, but he's fighting tooth and nail with these drivers. As Pelly's derating down the straight, is Rocco going to sail around the outside of Bullboy?
Yep.
Yeah, clean racing, respectful from Bullboy, who's fighting quite hard with these guys.
Yeah, he's on a set of mediums. He is putting it up there. He's nearly in the points as well. He's only 2 positions off the points. And if another safety car comes out, who knows where this race might go. Do you know how I said Messina, by the way? If he gets away by 3 seconds, that's game over. It's now 1.3 seconds. He's gained a second this lap. Messina is flying out on track, and Black Box is the man that is now going to be under pressure in terms of his tyre wear. I think because of these 2 safety car starts, as Remco now goes around the outside of Bullboy in towards turn 14. He's nearly pinched to the inside and there by Bullboy, but Bullboy is through and he's into 12th position still. Remco flex right on the back of this as well. Macho, by the way, is into the pit lane, and that is why he was up so far in the grid, because he didn't pit. He's now into the pit lane, goes under a set of mediums. He'll be going to the end. Remco is through on Bullboy down in towards turn 1. Flex as well is going to get a good run on Remco down in towards turn 1, and Bullboy has suddenly lost 2 positions for the price of 1.
Yeah, Speldenar is just looking fairly confident on the back of Black Box, but Messina's not streaking away just yet at least. But so obviously Black Box is going to phase into this slowly lap by lap, but Black Box will be still with no penalties as well, as David and Macho both get a penalty at the exact time, and Rocco as well, so penalties flying in. Likes of Jensen as well, he'll be up into P3 with these penalties being counted for, as he's behind his teammate, and they're on the same lap old tyres. So this is a great recovery so far by Jensen from last.
It is a really good recovery by Jensen, and yeah, down from the back of the field, he's up into 5th. He's now on the back of his teammate, as you say, Zero, who's just in front of him through FRL for the 20th time. On to the 21st lap we go, and it's Messina who leads. Blackbox in second. Speldenor nearly brushed against the wall there, I think, on the exit. Zero had an absolute terrible exit there, and Jensen is now through already down the straight, and he's up into P4. He's not going to be derating down the straight, so he's only going to pull that gap out down in towards turn number 1. So Jensen is through, and he's into 4th. Further down the field, I don't think anybody is quite close enough to try and get the move done. Ballboy knows Stevens going to be quite a battle down in 13th and 14th. Two former owners, of course, here in FRL. Ballboy 13th, oh, Steven 14th, as Speldenor's round.
He got a penalty, so I reckon he
left side damage.
Turn 3 too much and went left or right into the wall. David's going to get past him, and that is going to completely ruin his race. Oh no, why has he done that then? Hopefully there's no safety car, otherwise that will jeopardise the race. But luckily for some, there is no safety cars. Messina's still holding that gap at 1.3. Oh no, there's a safety car.
Yeah, he leaves the session and now the safety car's deployed. He could have just tried to go around there on a set of soft compounded tyres with the damage, came into the pit lane, retired in the pit box. He could have done that, but no. Messina's out on top, the black box in second, Jensen in third, Zero in fourth. But now what this transitions to, are we going to see drivers maybe go on to a set of softs towards the end of the race? Black box and Jensen are coming in, Zero's going to come in as well behind with Petter. All of these guys are coming in. Messina is on to a set of softs. He feels he can get those tyres towards the end of the race. And why wouldn't you? Because you're going to be on tyres who are going towards the end of the race. Remco, however, who stayed out on track, he's on a set of hard compounded tyres. He stays out there and he's now in the lead of the race. Messina's second. Look at Henny all of a sudden. Henny, if he can get those tyres to the end of the race, he's in a really good shout, maybe for even a podium.
I'll tell you what, Hennep would love a podium, or when he scored points he was jumping for joy, I heard. But Hennep will really want to fight with everything to keep this third spot. I don't think he'll keep third for very long, but he will try and hold on to it as long as possible. But all the drivers that have pitted have got around max 2 lap fresher tyres, whereas the likes of Remco and obviously Hennep himself are on older tyres, and Remco is on hard, so Remco is going to probably drop like a rock down the order, probably all the way out of the points pretty fast, unless he does some absolutely world-class defensive manoeuvres. As Hennep, what's happened? Oh no.
He spun!
Oh no.
He spun! I don't know what's happened here. I think there's been some sort... I wonder if his pad or something is disconnected, or his wheel. Because that looks really strange from Henny. Henny is pretty much out of this one now. He's parked on the S section. He nearly gets crashing into the wall again. I wonder if that was a disconnect there, maybe from a wheel or a controller. That's all I could think. Because that looked like a really weird one.
The AI's taken over, which probably would indicate that, as just saying Speldenar has said. Apparently he crashed into the wall, which looked fairly on purpose because of his pedals not working, but we'll save the excuses, I guess, for the stewards. But Messina looks in an even better position now. 13 laps on the softs is going to be quite a tall order. I think his strategy will be to pull out of DRS once again to Black Box, and then just really nurse those tyres home. Whereas Black Box, he's going to be having to push flat out to not only keep with Messina, as Remco's
in the wall! Remco's in the wall! He overheated the tyres coming out of turn 3, and now he's all the way down in 12th position, and he's not going to fly his way through. He's going to have to sit there and wait, and I think actually Ballboy might have got an illegal overtake there. I wonder if some of the field have actually got illegal overtakes here, or if Remco's just trying to make his way through.
Zero has. Zero? Oh no.
Has people got illegal overtakes? We'll soon see. It'll pop up on the bottom left. If we have got, he has got damage as well as Remco. Right side end plate damage on the car. Henny, by the way, spun. Speldenor, yeah, Matey Ball, by the way, saying it looks suspect. All I'm going to say on that one is let the stewards decide. And it was on the stream, so there we are. Messina's out on top, though. Black Box in second, Jensen in third. And now Messina has basically been granted maybe the race win here just because Remco spun.
But I don't really see why Remco would be helping Messina there.
No, he spun it by himself. Remco spun it by himself out of turn 3 and went in the wall. And Messina's basically picked up that free position because of that spin.
But I know for a fact Remco is quite new to the league, and I wouldn't imagine he'd let Messina kind of keep the lead. Obviously, it does look pretty on purpose, but you have to remember he was on hards, and out of that corner, which is a pretty hard traction zone, I don't know, and we saw Hennep do it as well, but that might be due to the AI. I'm not sure that's deliberately as blatant maybe as a PK in Singapore.
No, I don't think it was on purpose whatsoever. I just think he overheated the rears. Yeah. Went in the wall coming out of turn 3. I think he got caught in the outside curb, which is probably overheated the rears. He's then spun, applied some throttle, spun into the wall, and that's why he's ended up down in 16th position and a change of front wing. Flex, by the way, got his front wing changed, so I wonder if he had a moment as well. Under the safety car, I wonder if he went into the back of somebody. Messina those out on top. Black Box in second, Jensen in third. What this does is it brings everyone to, I would say, neutral points out on track. We've got plenty of penalties. Penalties are Macho 6 seconds, Peta 3, David on 9, Rocco on 3, Zero on 6, Pelly and JB also on 6, Henny on 3, Remco on 6 and Flex on 3. There's half the field there that have not got penalties. Only 6 drivers, I think, out on track, or 7, who have not got a penalty whatsoever, including the top 3. Messina, Black Box and Jensen haven't picked up a penalty yet. And Messina, you would imagine, is probably going to be the quickest man. But if Black Box can master his start, he's in a
JB spun! Sorry to butt in. JB spun as well in a similar spot to Hennep, so I'm not sure what kind of contagious disease is going on in terms of F1 here, but people just seem to be dropping the car at about in every lap. We've had a safety car, we've had a spin, Hennep first, followed by Remco, and now JB. So something, it's maybe odds with the tyres at the moment, but I think Bullboy will be living on cloud 9 here. He does always want penalties and crashes and safety cars, and he's got all 3. Messina's not gone yet.
Oh, what's Macho doing? Macho's absolutely sleeping under the restart, and he's cost, what, 9/10 of a second of Jensen, and Jensen's run on the back of Black Box underneath the start. Messina is absolutely gone, and now Jensen pulls out the slipstream. We're back underway, and Messina leads. It's Jensen now in second, it's Black Box down in third. Great restart by Jensen. Now it is the front 2 in the championship. 1 in P2 in the championship leading, and the man who is the champion here this season in FRL, he's trying to hunt down the protagonist that could take his championship away next season. Messina leads the way, Jensen in second, Black Box in third. It's a very tidy restart by everyone. Further down the field, there's not many moves going to be happening. Black Box tries to lunge it down the inside line of Jensen. Remco was side by side with Bullboy actually down in towards turn 4, and Bullboy just gets squeezed onto the outside line. Now on the inside line, Remco switches back on the inner, dips under, goes the inside line. Beautiful stuff by Remco if he can pull this off. Yes, he does. I think he is through into P11. He is. Remco's through, he's into P11. Outmastered Messina, penalty, 3 seconds.
Jensen is now going to be sniffing blood in the water here. He's got the man in his sights. He's just out of DRS, but as I say that, he's gaining just hundredths of a second just by each corner. So Jensen here, by having the same lap hole tyres as Messina, I know for a fact it's very easy to get a puncture on these softs if you do 11 laps on them. So we could be seeing a puncture from the top 2 if they're not careful. So this could be a really good grandstand finish like it was in F2.
Yeah, I've seen these softs make 13 laps on this track before, and that is under a first stint, not under a second or a third stint. Peta is through, by the way, down the inside of Macho. He is through into P4. How's Macho on P5, by the way? Let's just face it, he got butchered through turn 1 and lap 1, and now he's in 5th position. Brock is trying to hunt him down on the outside line, and in fact, Brock's going to try and clean sail it all the way around the outside, gives him the room, down the inside line. Little bit of a, well, the gap was there, to be honest, and Brock is through. Brock is through, took the advantage of the very thin gap on the inside line, and he's through into 5th. I think that's a clean move there.
Bullboy, just see there, just saw the last moments of him getting bullied off the P12. He's all over the place in terms of, looks like his tyres are overheating, but he just needs to stick with these top guys, and then he can score some really, really solid points, maybe even around 6th or 7th if there's another late safety car, and then possibly he can get some really solid points, maybe even his best result of the season. But as Messina sets fastest lap, is DRS enabled this lap?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
So
DRS will be enabled this lap, but it'll be around the outside of turn 12 is where it'll be. Zero, by the way, is trying to go on the outside of the straight, running down in towards turn 1. Pelly is closing in the radar, not it could be 3 wide, maybe down in towards turn 1. Pelly derating. Jensen's got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, which is quite a strange one. A Zero just chops up David, he's through and he's into P8. Zero through and he's into P8, David in P9. Pelly in P10 was closing up at a rate of knots, didn't get both of them done, and Zero remains in P8. But Jensen, 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. Where on earth did he pick that up?
I know there's a glitch into turn 3, I think it is, where if you cut that even slightly, like we saw Messina do in qualifying, you do get handed a 5-second penalty. As Remco's going for a move on David.
Lovely.
And he's made it stick, and David's really dropping down the order here. He's going loads of understeer, not sure whether he's got damage.
Left side end plate maybe? Left side end plate. I'm just trying to have a look in. If there is damage on that car, it's very minute and it's probably not visible to us in the commentary box. So Ballboy's now in the back of him. There's the yellow flag in sector 3 and Flex has spun and has had contact, I think, with Henny there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just seeing here, Brock closing in slowly, little by little, 10th by 10th on Petterville, who's looking a little bit vulnerable, but luckily for Petterville he does have DRS on Black Box. And Black Box here, he's going to have to phase into these last couple laps if he wants to take the win off of penalties. I think on track Black Box can forget about it, but he's going to have to hold off these soft runners as well, who are going to be right on his tail.
Zero getting closed up by Rocco as well. Remco, tries to lunge it down the inside line on Pelly. Doesn't get the move done. Pelly's still in P9, Remco in P10. Charlie, who may be still in the shower, maybe not in the shower, is now in P16 ahead of Flex, by the way, who's just came into the pit lane. JB down in 15th as well, so both racing points not scoring hardly at all here out on track tonight. It's Messina who leads, Jensen in second. Black Box is just going to get a little bit of a wriggle on, I think. His tyres are going to probably come towards the final 5-6 laps towards the end of the race. Petter and Old Brock are really challenging him behind. Black Box has just got to pick up the pace slightly if he wants to try and get Jensen and Messina, who have both got 3 and 5 second time penalties respectively.
Yeah, Black Box seems to be around about a second slower than the likes of Jensen per lap. But he will slowly start to change things and possibly maybe start doing some PBs, as Petterville looks like he's being put under pressure from O'Brock.
Black Box locked up entirely down and towards turn 1-0, by the way. It goes around the outside of Rocco. He's through and he's into 7th. Remco is through on Pelly. Yeah. And now Petter's right on the back of Black Box. Switches to the inside line. It's a great dummy by the Czech. Down the inside line he goes. The Ferrari is through. The Williams, he's outbroke himself slightly. And now Black Box is going to try and main it all the way around the outside. He doesn't. Petter's on the inside line. In towards turn 6. They both want this position. Body into the S section. And Petter is through. Petter is through and he's into P3. Masterful driving by the Czech. He's through and he's into Flex. P3 as Flex has actually crashed coming down the straight, which is quite strange. Petterville through and he's into P3. Brock trying to chase down Black Box. Brilliant move though by Petter.
Yeah, just going to say Brock was having a quiet race there, as he could probably sniff a chance there, but Petter just selling the dummy to Black Box. Criminal stuff by Petter there to make such a nice overtake. But Black Box is so close to Petterville, with the main straight being about 800 metres long around about. But he's not going to use any overtakes, so he's just going to sit behind Blacks here and maybe use Petterville. But Brock here, he's derating quite rapidly. He's going to go down to literally no ERS. He's going to try and dummy it as they
Black Box is into the back! Black Box is into the back of Petter!
Oh no, and he gets damage.
Yeah, he got left side end plate damage. He came spearing across the track, and Brock was wrong place, wrong time. That's why he picked up the damage. There's nothing to do with an incident there whatsoever. Macho, however, tries to go all the way around the outside of Black Box. This is brave and bold from the Renault, and he's through and he's into P5. Black Box still down on the inside line. Macho, so much later on the brakes, tries to maintain the traction all the way around the outside. You would imagine with the damage that Black Box is going to give up the position, but this is Black Box we're talking about, and he gets foresight wide by Macho. And Macho's through and he's into P5. I think with damage, he probably would have lost that position anyways, Black Box. But Macho now down in P5. Flex, by the way, is into the pit lane. Messina leads, Jensen second, Petra in third. And Flex has retired out the race. Black Box, however, with that damage, he also picked up a penalty and all that. Oh, and there's a VSC. There's a VSC out on track. Oh, Flex, I think, has crashed it into the pit wall, has he?
No. Or it seems as though he's done it outside of the pits. I don't know how on earth that has happened, but chaos ensues around Mazzina and Jensen. But they are just streaking away life and day, or night and day, if I can get my puns right, from Pedal, putting out 7.1 seconds. But this is our third safety car, and now our first virtual safety car, if I have counted right.
Yep.
But yeah, Zero as well, picking up so many penalties. He looked like he could maybe score some good points, but a lot of drivers almost, it's like a zebra crossing until you reach Bullboy, who's kept it very clean. Jensen's got
a drive-through for spin on the VSC, and then has now handed Messina the race. Surely Messina, even with penalties, is going to win this. Bullboy, by the way, is in for an absolute field day down in 11th position. He's got no penalties, but everyone else, the top 10 has. Ballboy could be streaking his way up the field here. There's drivers with drive-thrus. Jensen's going to come in for a drive-thru, so Ballboy's going to be ahead of him. Zero's got 12 seconds. Remco's got 9. Macho's got 9. Ballboy, if he stays in that, he could be getting himself, I would say, top 7.
Yeah, definitely. Mazzina just has to save these tyres, because if he gets a puncture, it will hand Peterol his first ever win in FRL. Same as Brock, same as Macho, if they manage to pass Petter. But this could be critical for Brock's race if he manages to get past Petter.
Jensen's going to be ahead of Ballboy, I think, coming out the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. Ballboy's got the speed running down the straight. Jensen's going to be out ahead. Black Box tries to go all the way around the outside of Zero.
David round the outside.
And Black Box, contact between both Zero and Black Box round now, and he's down into P8.
Yeah, just seeing there, David, who tried to go around the outside Bullboy, he's, as I just cut away to Zero, he's somehow not managed to get that position with the massive overspeed. Obviously, Bullboy and David not have the cleanest of reputations with racing wheel to wheel, but these two both looking alright for maybe getting some points. I think David's maybe, it's not the favourite to probably sneak into 10th or 9th here, but there's going to be some big stories if the grid stays the same, or if Mazzina gets a puncture, we could be seeing a massive position change from many drivers.
Flex, by the way, saying in the comments section that he wanted to retire in the pit lane, but there was a glitch. It was a pit glitch. Apparently that cost him, so that is why we saw him on the outside of the track. I thought he might have crashed into the pit wall and then put him on the outside, but so I apologise for that. Petter in second. Brock now laying down the law possibly for second position. He's right on the back of him, running down the straight in towards turn 1. Not quite close enough. I think you said Brock there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Brock was just 2 tenths or so off Peterville, but he gets a bit of a snap of oversteer in the dirty air of Peterville.
Pelly, I think. Pelly's going right on the back of Black Box here. Black Box, of course, still with that damage. And Pelly down the inside line, gets the move done. It's actually the right side end plate, I should say, for Black Box, not the left side, as I think I said early on. But Pelly's through into 8th. Ballboy's putting up a stern fight against David. Neatly pushes them out wide. David now will try and force the issue on the inside line. Now switches to the outside line. Ballboy defends. And Ballboy just about hangs on.
Yeah, Brock here just sticking with Pedal very nicely. They both have similar levels of ERS, around 30%, same as Macho. But Macho's obviously on the mediums, which might mean if there are punctures up ahead with the high tyre wear, obviously, of Mexico, as Macho gets a massive slap of oversteer, possibly Macho could be in for a podium position, or even second, his best result in F1.
Well, he has got 9 seconds worth of penalties, so I don't think he's going to be even on the podium at this stage. I had to ruin it for you, didn't I? Rocco's right on the back of Zero, trying to go all the way around the outside of the Brit on the back of the Finn. Oh, it's very close to contact. Zero hangs it on the inside line, leaves him short of room. Rocco will try and fight this. Remco now involved in this as the yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. And it's Bullboy that is being overtaken by David down in towards turn 1. And it was Henny. Yeah, you're right, it was Henny. I thought it was Bullboy for a second there. Oh, it's Macho! What's happened to Macho? Macho's just lost entirely ground off the back of O'Brien. He might have tried to lunge it down the inside line and towards 4. And now he's 1.7 seconds behind.
Yeah, what's a race I can't keep up here. But Brock has absolutely dropped Macho as Zero is just reeling in the penalties at this point. I think he's completely just lost count and maybe isn't even caring about the penalties as he runs wide again. I think he's lost his head. But Brock has somehow managed to make a move in the 3rd sector, and Petterville might have a puncture.
No, he ran out wide. He made a mistake. He ran out wide coming into the Ferrosol, and he ran out wide coming through on the exit of 13, locked up entirely, went straight on. And that is why he's lost position. So Brock's down into P2. I think he probably would have got it anyways. But Petter now trying to fight back desperately to try and get this. They've got Charlie's AI, by the way, that they're approaching. So a bit of free DRS.
Oh, Black Box got squeezed on the outside up onto the curb.
Jensen.
Quite a bit by Pelly there. As Jensen's just sniffing the rear.
Macho. Oh, Petter's down the inside line of Macho. Tries to get the car stopped. He's on the outside line. The Ferrari against the Renault. The Renault leaves him very much short of room. Force him onto the outside line. And Macho is through and he's into P3. Just about. Oh, it's actually he nearly gets pulled up by Charlie's AI.
Black Box here is
oh, there's a crash.
Here, maybe.
Rocco's in the wall. Rocco in the wall. There was contact with him and Remco. I think Remco tried to move across on Rocco possibly there. Down in towards turn 7. And Remco now up into P6, Rocco now all the way down into
Jensen
P10. Contact between the both and here's Jensen on the back of Pelly, as you rightfully say, down the inside line, gets the move done. So Jensen making his way very late through. Remember, he had a drive-through penalty.
Oh,
and
no,
now
he hits Jensen, Pelly.
Oh, and there's contact as well. I think Pelly... It was Black Box. Black Box has got left side end plate damage again. Final lap of the race. Messina leads. O'Brock second. Macho in third. I don't know where this race is going to go. Here's Macho on the back of O'Brock. Running down the inside in towards turn 1. Oh, and the mediums against the softs. The softs on the outside line. The mediums on the inside line. And there's contact. Macho and O'Brock. Wheel-to-wheel contact through turn 3. Never going to work. And O'Brock's in second.
Macho just turned in way too much into that corner and he's thrown away possibly a good result, but as you referred to earlier, he does have a hell of a lot of penalties. But Medina looks like he's going to be fine unless he gets a puncture here.
Pelly, sorry to cut in, this is absolutely chaotic halfway down the field. Pelly is through and he's into 7th position on Remco and he now gets the job done. Black Box is there trying to fight side by side with Remco down the inside line. Oh, great move by Black Box, even with damage. As you say, Messina is on the way into the final couple of corners through Peraltona in what has been the craziest race I think I've ever seen. Messina ran the final corner to win in Mexico. O'Brock is somehow going to finish second unless he's got more penalties. He hasn't. O'Brock is going to finish second. I think Black Box might get third here if I'm not mistaken. I'm just trying to calculate it up. Black Box is coming through the final corner. Petter, Jensen, Macho. Black Box across the line. Fourth.
Yeah, Petterville there getting a solid podium. I cannot...
Where's Bullboy going to finish?
The amount of overtakes we got. Bullboy could... Oh, he's 9 seconds off Remco, but he does get P9, which is better than his usual P10. But Stephen will feel a little hard done by in P11 as Rocco will also be a little bit frustrated as he's racing wheel to wheel.
David and Rocco
with David.
Yeah, David and Rocco are fighting side by side, coming through Peraltada for the final time. The Spaniard is just going to drag Rocco to the line, and Rocco gets ahead because of the penalties. My God, what a race!
Yeah.
Driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans, goes to Jensen. Yeah, Jensen, I think, definitely a candidate for driver of the day. But to the top step of the podium, it is Messina. And Messina, he didn't say that much last week, if I remember rightly, Messina. And hopefully he's going to be a man of many, many words as he is to the top step of the podium for round 20 here in Mexico. And that now puts him in a really good position to wrap up second in the championship.
Yeah, his Michael Schumacher character lists a champagne and sprays it all over all the soaking wet team supporters. But I think that was a Michael Schumacher worthy drive there from Mazina. Pulled away and absolutely left everyone in his dust. I would probably give my drive of the day to Mazina, but who do you give yours to, James?
Yeah, to be honest, I think Messina definitely gets a vote for driver of the day. I mean, in the end, I nearly got my, well, half prediction right. Messina ended up winning. Petter in third. I got 2 drivers in the top 3. Not in the right positions, but I'll take it anyways. Messina's out on top. Obrock in second, Petter in third, Black Box in fourth. Jensen set the fastest lap, so that's an extra point going his way in fifth. Pelly in sixth, Macho in seventh, Zero in eighth, Bullboy in ninth. Remco ran off the top 10 with those Stephen, JP, Rocco, David all finishing. Henny was a lap down in 15th. Charlie in 16th didn't really get out the shower in the end. Flex, Spell, Amanda and Jacko all DNFing out of the race at various stages. Messina has won though, Obrock second, Petra in third, and we will transition to the party for the interviews.
We certainly will, and I think there's going to be an absolute mixture of emotions here, but I think all the drivers will probably agree that was a pretty entertaining race, considering we probably got 3 figures of overtakes in the space of this hour-long race.
I'm not sure if this is true, by the way. I'm just watching... There's a bloke landed on the pitch at Euro 2020.
What, in the Germany game?
In the Germany game. He's landed with a parachute on one of those, like, little, like, auto-gyro things that you see flying in the air.
I saw it in a Poland game in a very low division, but this is, well...
That isn't true, is it? I hope it is true, because that's just really funny. I'm just having a look at this. Hang on a minute. We'll conduct the interviews in just a second. Yeah, a man parachuted into the stadium. He got caught in the spider cam and he nearly crashed into the crowd in the Germany-France game.
Well, that's slightly dangerous, but I would say the racing here has been a little bit more dangerous than maybe that parachute man, but hopefully he's got no injuries. And,
Oh. Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to transition now over to the party, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll see you in a F2 interviews chat. Or F1
yeah.
sorry.
F1 interviews chat, exactly. I will see you there. I'll join you when you set up the party. Right, so Bunty has gone to set up that party. I'll get a notification very soon indeed to say that that party has now been set up and that has been accessed by the drivers. I'm just going to try and transition now and see if it is in. Apologies about the blue screen, but I'm sure we are going to get into that party very soon indeed, or we'll certainly be given an invite to that party. But what did you guys make of that race out on track? Who do you think got your driver of the day? Let us know, of course, in the comments section. Of course, we are going to be conducting the interviews for majority of the guys out on track, whoever joined the party, of course. But really good racing, I think, from the entire field. Of course, there is due to be driving that is going to be questionable. The stewards, of course, are going to have a look at any incidents, get them reported in if you do have any incidents involved. But we are now just transitioning into the party where I'm going to be conducting some of the interviews out on track. And here we are. Zero, Bunty and Jensen are already here. I go out to spectate mode. I am not going to do a Ballboy 57 and drive out on track. As we will wait on a few of the guys to join. There is Ballboy himself, who I think might have just caught my last comment there, if I'm not mistaken. But we shall wait on the man who finished in P1. Of course, that was Messina, and in the end, a near 10-second victory for Messina. A man of very few words, as we saw last week. But what we'll do while Messina joins is we'll have a talk to Jensen, who of course finished in P4, P5.
Yeah, I'll classify it as P4. That 5 seconds was ridiculous. I wouldn't. it should have been really just a normal exceeding track limit warning. And
Well,
it just, yeah.
Yeah, let us talk through that, because obviously you picked up that 5-second penalty. In the race, though, you started from the back of the field, up towards the top end near the end. Must still be a good race from your perspective, though.
Still disappointed, really. It was a good race, yeah. I mean, the safety cars kept on coming out, but it was ridiculous, really, the rate of that. It's just taking away the racing completely. It was just, yeah.
Because it was on the exit of... It was on the exit of turn 3. I think you picked up that 5-second penalty, and it's a penalty that I've seen actually given in other leagues as well. When you've run out wide coming through the exit of turn 3, and you picked up that 5-second penalty for basically exceeding track limits, even though you've only put 2 wheels over the white line.
Yeah, it should have, like, the way I took it. I mean, I lost the back end. I actually lost time going across that, so it shouldn't have really been a warning at all, but you know how Codemasters are, these track limits. And I mean, we got the 5 seconds. That was my second warning of the race, or it should have been my second warning of the race, so I aimed to keep there. And then the VSC came out, and at the restart it was about 2 tenths. I was crawling around the corner and it just caught up to me somehow, which is just ridiculous, and I got a drive through from that. But I managed to come back to P4, I guess. So, I mean, I'll take it in the end. But in my eyes, I should have won that. So, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bit of a frustration. I'm sure the stewards will look into getting that 5-second penalty removed as well. But going ahead, of course, into the final 2 rounds of the championship, we've got Brazil and Abu Dhabi to come up. You're already the champion, so the pressure's off, essentially. How do you feel, though, going into Brazil? Are we expecting another last to... Well, it was 5th today. Last to first challenge, or is it going to be pole position?
No, I've done 2 already, and I've just got annoyed really in the 2 races, so I'm just gonna go for the qualifying. I mean, Brazil ain't really one of my best tracks, but for sure Abu Dhabi I'll have a crack at a good end to the season. But yeah, other than that, just yeah, guess how it is. Yeah, nothing more to say really. But yeah.
No, that's exactly... It's totally fine, to be honest, and a good result nonetheless, I think, from your perspective. Whether you get 4th or not, I'm sure it'll come out in the stewards. But well done on the race. Bunty, we are now going to move on to, I believe, Pelly, who is in the party.
Me?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
of course.
Hello.
Yeah, Pelly is here. I can see. I've got the app, so I can see who's in the party. So you're not getting away from an interview.
I was surprised as you were, Pelly, but
I need to get used to it, the fact that I'm getting called up early. You know, most of the time I'm always the last one to get confused.
yeah. And you're getting called up early because you got your best result of the P season, which is P6 from 12th on the grid. Obviously, your qualifying wasn't ideal, but it set you up nicely going on a medium stint there, because it meant you could stay out whenever pitted under the safety car around lap 10. You managed to stay out and get yourself into a nice position. But generally, do you think your qualifying, should we even talk about it, or do you think it was just nice to go on those mediums to set you up nicely?
I could, like, if I went to soft, I would have easily been, I think, around P7 or maybe P6, but I didn't found like it worthy to. I decided to go just just qualify on P12 and just go mediums, and then do soft at the in the race. But yeah, that was my tactic in qualifying, but nothing more.
Yeah, well, in the end, obviously, it was pretty a very up and down race for you. You were P2, as I referred to, under the safety car on lap 10, but then you shot down to P18 on lap 12, so you must be very happy with the P6, your best result of the season. You did say in the comments it was a pretty messy race, but
yeah, it was a messy
out
race.
of all of that chaos, you got P6.
No, but like on both safety cars, like I was behind Brock, who was my teammate for this race. So the first safety car, I decided to stay out, but because I thought maybe I can just is a better choice. And then a second safety car, I decided to pit because I had no other choice. and I lost like a lot of positions with both occasions, so it was not ideal. But yeah, it was a messy race in the whole. I think with safety cars. I think one guy just crashed on purpose and caused the last safety car. I have a POV of it. I don't know if you guys want it, but yeah. And then like with I was a bit frustrated because I had no ERS, so I had to defend like hell in the corner. So because I had nothing on the straights. And with penalties also, like, which was ridiculous. I think I got one entering the pits. So yeah, but in the end, I was quite surprised that I got P6. I thought maybe P8, but yeah, good race, I guess in the end.
Yeah, all in all, a very well, maybe not solid race, but you did get the results in the end, making a nice move as well down the inside of Remco into turn 5 on the last lap. So do you feel as though you're driving with a little bit more freedom given now the results are starting to roll in?
Now I think it's just more the fact that I'm getting more used to no traction. I think because like in the beginning I had like no trust, like in my on my like when I had to go on throttle, but now every race I'm getting better and better with no traction. Especially the race, like qualifying, I was like very quickly comfortable, but the race was the big problem, and I'm getting better and better and more confident.
Yeah,
it's still not good enough, but it's getting better.
And we know in Brazil it's quite a heavy traction circuit, and it's slightly pad favoured. So you think once again maybe with a poor quality, which somehow every time you finish outside the top 10 you do manage to score some really good points. Do you think maybe with another slightly poor quality you might be able to come back in a race and maybe sneak into the top 5 positions possibly?
We will see. I think Brazil is like so. It's not. Sometimes it's a good track. Sometimes it's like not a good track for me. I don't know. But like we will see. I also will see what kind of strategy I will use. Maybe start the mediums again or go on softs just right there in the front. Yeah.
Well, sounds like we won't know what to expect, which is always the best. But great race once again. Bring 8 points home for Haas from you, and best of luck in Brazil to bring home another good result.
Thank you for commentating, by the way.
No problem. As James, you will be interviewing Macho, isn't it?
Yeah, Macho, of course, finishing P7 from what was 20th on the grid come the end of turn 1. Let's just speak about that first, Macho, of course, if you're here. Turn 1, I think it was Remco who was behind you on the outside line. Did he push you out wide, running down and towards turn 1?
To be honest, I have no idea at this point. I didn't have a look at the gameplay, but well, I need to definitely work at my start. Yesterday I had a very poor start as well, so the start was terrible. I think I like dropped back to P6 after 200 meters, and then like I came in all the madness, and then I turned to the left, and I think there was a car on my left, and I spun, and I picked up 5 warnings in the first lap. 5! That was not the great, but from there on, I think I had a very good pace to catch everyone out. Had a very poor strategy as well, because I had one new set of softs, but I used that after my first pit stop. So like I was on the old softs when the first safety car came, and then I had to drive it home with the new mediums. I think like my pace to the end was pretty damn well, but I was fighting with Brock, and like Peter just like made a gap where I went, and Brock didn't see me, so he turned in and I half spun, then closed the gap again, overtook Peter, wanted to overtake Brock, but had a very unlucky incident because I touched his side pods, and I spun again, picked up another penalty, and then I came home 7th.
And how on earth you ended up 7th is absolutely beyond me, considering the race that you had out on track. Just talk us through the safety cars, though, because it was a bit of a stop-start scenario. I think you were in P5 at one stage under one of the safety cars. Did you feel like you had the pace, if you got a better start and everything, did you feel if you had the overall package, you would have done better tonight?
Definitely, I had definitely the pace to get on the podium with Messina and Jensen. But yeah, it was very unlucky, and the tires were just like, all the time was on old tires, so everyone around me had a very big advantage. But yeah, overall I think it was a pretty decent performance, coming back from a 30-second...
Coming back from a 30-second deficit, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right,
Sorry,
yeah. I'm not sure if you were trying to find a word there, or if you were just letting me to try and come in maybe with another question there.
I was finding the word for it, but well.
I found it for you. That's the thing. Of course, you race in Division 2 as well here in FRL. So looking ahead to Brazil next week for both races, if you're going to be here as well for F1, how do you feel you're going to get on?
Well, I did some laps today, and I think I have very good pace for someone on the wheel compared to all the pad drivers, because Brazil is very pad OP. But I hope I can race in both divisions. Yeah, well, I'm still in the title fight in Division 2, so just need to get the advantage over my rivals and put in a good performance.
I'm sure you'll be able to, and of course you can catch all the Division 2 action, of course, with Ballboy and with Jack if he's back, of course, on Monday evening at 7 PM. Nice bit of promotion on FRL. Never gets done these days. Bunty, of course, we are now moving on to Zero. I believe you finished 8th.
Yes, and if Mr. Zero is there?
Yes.
Well, I mean, your voice says it all. It was a pretty disappointing result, considering it was one of your best qualifying sessions probably of the whole season. For once, qualifying actually on the softs in P3, was that just because Ritty Jensen was doing a last to first challenge and you finally had the optimal strategy, or were you planning all along to go for maybe the soft medium?
I mean, I was planning on doing that soft medium, but of course that gets thrown away instantly because of people pretty much can't drive without crashing out of the race every single time, so that's pretty much also the reason that I got pretty much dropped from P4 all the way down to P11 with the last safety car, and that's where I decided to just say fuck it, I don't care what happens, I'm gonna get disqualified or finish the race with maximum penalties. So
yeah, pretty frustrating evening in terms of your race, but you were running really well in P2 on lap 8 with no penalties, and even on lap 11, just before the first safety car came out, you were 5 seconds ahead of Messina, who obviously had the better strategy on mediums. But do you think if there were no safety cars throughout the whole of the race, you would have been in a fight for your second podium of the season?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, do you think that would have just been the pace or just the gap you pulled out in that first stint?
Well, I think I would have got into a pretty... I was looking at the minimap before the safety car came for the first time, and I was looking at where I would come out, and I saw that there was a pretty good patch of clear air, so I could have probably made use of that second brand new set of soft on that after the first stint pretty decently, and maybe possibly extended them to do less laps on the medium at the end, but it's pointless to talk about now. The race is done, nothing I can do.
Yeah, and moving on to Brazil, which is fair to say your best track in FRL. Obviously, you won there over 550 days ago.
561.
561 to be precise, but surely you'll be at least wanting to go for bare minimum a podium if you put the practice in.
Nah, I'm not gonna make up empty promises or empty predictions. It's pretty pointless to even think that I'm gonna be maybe even in the top 5. It's pointless to start thinking about it at this point.
Okay, so keeping the standards low. But best of luck in Brazil, and obviously condolences on a slightly disappointing race today in Mexico.
Thanks.
And now, I believe we'll move on to Ballboy, who finished in P9, doing better than his regular P10 finishes, of course, here in FRL F1. Ballboy, first of all, how was your race?
Well, it was, yeah, at the end result, of course, like, getting 2 points. I mean, I thought for about 90% of the race that I wouldn't score any points at all, because, yeah, even fastest lap was gonna go out the window. I know people had penalties in front, but they were so much quicker that I got out of their, you know, penalty range to benefit. But luckily, a few incidents in front and a few more penalties meant I finished in P9. So yeah, I'll definitely take the 2 points. I really didn't expect any points today, so yeah, it feels great to come home in P9.
Yeah, definitely, and I said in commentary that you might get P7. Didn't quite get there in the end, but obviously P9 a very good result from you. Just in terms of the pace perspective, in terms of the safety cars as well, do you feel that, I know you said 90% of the race you didn't feel like you were going to score points, did you feel you could deliver anything more than what you delivered out on track today?
Well, that was entirely dependent on when, like, the safety cars came out, because you know, if that safety car came out, or like 5, not even that, like 3 laps later, then perhaps I could have got, yeah, like you said, like P7, or, I mean, if it was a really late safety car, then that could have been like a podium or something, but no, that rarely happens anyway, because yeah, safety cars on this game are quite weird, but yeah, my pace anyway would have got me, I think, P14 today without everything that happened, so yeah, just gotta take it as a positive, and yeah, 2 points in the bag, move on to the next race.
Yeah, 2 points in the bag indeed. Of course, Brazil next week as well. You're going to be doubling up with commentary, of course, for F2 on Monday. How do you feel you're going to get on, though, in terms of the race next week in F1 for Brazil?
Well, I do like Brazil. But yeah, once again, it's the same answer all season, really. It just depends if other people crash in late safety cars, and yeah, otherwise I won't be scoring any points unless I go for a last lap, fast lap or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Changeable conditions, good rain in Brazil as well, so that could spice up the action as well. So yeah, hopefully a very dramatic race in Brazil next week.
Now, we definitely need a wet race. I haven't had a wet race since I've returned here in FRL, so I'm hoping that we might get a wet race next week in Brazil. But, Ballboy, well done on finishing P9. I believe we've got old Stephen in the party as well, and Bunty, you're conducting this one.
Indeed I am. Is there Stephen there?
Yep.
Good to hear. Well, it was a slightly lackluster qualifying in P18, but in general, it was a very good recovery in a race to make your way from P18 to P11, considering you had the turn 2 incident, which might have been with Jacko. So do you want to talk us through with what happened there?
I'm not sure what you're talking about with Jacko. What happened? My mind's gone blurred.
Lap 1, you did seem to spin off with a Red Bull in turn 2, where you had to pit early.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was me.
I've just realised I've actually made a mess of
it.
It was
Macho.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll ignore that, but do you think, in general, you were sticking with Ballboy in the early stages quite nicely, and obviously he went on to get P9. You were 11 seconds off points, but do you think if the safety cars weren't there, you would have been able to maybe sneak into that P10, or even better, with all the penalties, maybe P7 spot or something along those lines? Or do you think the safety cars actually helped you?
Well, it was a bit deja vu from yesterday, qualifying near the back, and I thought I'd do something different and just go on the hards and then go softs and just hope for safety cars coming out, which they did. It was alright until that last virtual safety car. My main objective today was to try and take ball boy, but it wasn't meant to be because I'd put a new set of softs on the last safety car with 14 laps, and I thought that's never going to do it, so I put it under the virtual safety car, and yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. I was a bit inconspicuous behind ball boy coming into that last virtual safety car, but no, I would have got a point otherwise in P10. But yeah, I'm happy I've got 2 races around here, completed 72 laps without getting 1 penalty, which is something to be proud of. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm slow, and it's just fun and social for me in F1.
As you said, you and Bulbo were the only ones to pick up no penalties around Mexico, which is pretty impressive. But in terms of moving on to Brazil, where obviously you might be racing in F2 and F1, do you rate your chances well compared to other tracks, maybe like we've gone to in the past, like Mexico, and we are going to in the future, like Abu Dhabi? Do you think Brazil, you have a better chance at points than those sorts of tracks?
Yeah, like Austria, where I got my best finish of the season in P4, that interchangeable conditions can happen there. And as you and T-Hawk found out, I got pastures on strategy calls in Austria. But yeah, I like Brazil. It's one of those old-fashioned tracks, and let's have a half and half race of rain and dryness, and a few safety cars in there to spice it up in both tiers to end the season on a high, heading into Abu Dhabi the following week.
You're not going to set yourself any predictions for F2?
F2, realistically, top 10. At the most, maybe, if something happens, top 4 again. But, yeah, F1, I'm just hoping to just stay out of trouble and get no penalties again.
Yeah, definitely.
If I get to race, I is.
Well, for today, it was a very consistent race, and thanks once again for racing today and stepping in, that's appreciated, and best of luck for maybe F1, and hopefully you score points in F2.
Thank you very much, and thanks for commentating today. Top job as always.
Very welcome indeed, and I believe without anybody else being here, that is the end of tonight's interviews, and that is the end of tonight's stream as well here in FRL. And hopefully we are going to be producing some really good action, of course, out on track around the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache next week in Brazil. Same place, same time, same days, 7 PM, of course, for F2. That's Ballboy and Jack hopefully taking you through the action for that. And myself and Bunty taking you through the action, of course, for FRL F1 on Tuesday night, 7 PM. No Euros, hopefully, to get in the way tonight, like they have done with France and Germany. But there we are. What can you do? It is the summer. It is beautiful outside here in the north of England. And we'll end it there. But for myself and Bunty, from everyone else, of course, who raced, congratulations to the top 3. And to everyone who raced, well done on your respective results. But for myself and Bunty, thank you so much for tuning in to FRL. Please stay safe in this crazy world we all live in. And until next time, goodbye.